Good. Sorry. Okay, cool. Recording has started. Andrew, Brennan Smith, welcome to the show, dude. I am so happy to have you. Thanks for sitting down and doing this.
Thank you, brother. Happy to be here. It's been probably 2 or 3 times we tried to get this going, but we're here now. But that's the most important thing. But happy to be here, bro. And thanks for having me again.
Yeah, of course, dude. It's a common theme, but that's the thing. We're busy for a reason, and like I always say, like you don't get to complain when there's a lot on your plate because the goal is to eat.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think we've both been eating quite a bit. I know we first met in March out in Rome with the boys, fellow member of A Players. So I always love having you guys on. It's always a good conversation. All of us are super aligned, but really where I want to start with you and where I start with everyone is, what are you most excited about right now?
I'm excited about our change in business model, our change in trajectory, our change in everything. So I feel like change is always an exciting thing, but change when there's actually a purpose behind it and proven, let's say, a proven result, i.e. we just closed a new client today on our new info offer, which is sick. So it's just like, okay, all that kind of content we've been pushing in the past 2 to 3 weeks, all of our shift in belief, our shift in everything it starts coming to fruition. And it's just funny. Like you asked me 2, 3 months ago if I'd be sitting down at tables of people saying, okay, are you comfortable paying me 100K a month from one single client? If you asked me that 2 months ago, I said, you're fucking crazy. But now it's just, we go onto a call and it's like, if I can net you $1 million, will you cut me a check for 100K? They say, no problem. Let's do business. Super simple.
Yeah, I love that. And I know like it's a common theme amongst like I think a lot of the guys in the group and like the conversations I've had where everybody is so adapt to change. And like you said, I'm most excited about change. You don't hear that every day. That's something most people fear. So talk to me a little bit about the details of that. What triggered this change in your opinion in the last 90 days? Like what was kind of the key point? Because I know a lot of people are probably looking if they have that signal going on in their head right now, like, can you take us into that process a little bit?
That's exactly what you just said there. It's your head and it's your gut. And I feel like when you get into the online SMMA world and even just like the online space in general, there's like a hierarchy of where you should start and where you should get to. And it's like, oh, you need to start, let's say an SMMA example, you need to start with local businesses, you need to get these people results, and then you can start to go to e-com and to info products. And like info products, Jack, was always our thing. It was always like the goal. It was like, okay, we're going to work with this, but our long-term vision is here. And it's like we were denying a gut feeling for the guts of 9 to 10 months. It didn't make it enjoyable. Like we were getting fantastic results for our fucking contracting clients. We were getting fantastic results for our local businesses, but the passion was never there. It was like, oh, I can just simply create an ad on Canva, put it up. I know how the algorithm works. I know how to get results. So it was definitely the thing that drove it was just actually listening to my gut and just being like, well, fuck it. I'm happy enough to take a financial hit for a few months. I'm happy to eat the shit and just learn my craft. And when it finally pays off, like, bro, like jumping on these calls is just 10 times easier than jumping on any other sales call we've ever jumped on. You're just solving rich people's problems. You're speaking to people like you. We're the same age. We're similar ages. Everyone understands the online. They're versed in what we talk about. And it's not like, oh, I need access to your Facebook. Can you send me your passwords, please? It's like, no, this VSL funnel ain't working, bro. The CTR percentage ain't great. The CPMs are higher. It's just that you can actually have the higher level conversations. And to be honest, that's the main reason, is a gut feeling and just actually fucking following your heart.
Mm-hmm. I love that, man. I love that because you can get so versed in like the product and thinking you're supposed to do one thing, but then that leads to this other thing, and it's easy to go down the rabbit hole. You talked about this hierarchy in the online space, and a lot of guys listening to this, they're probably getting ready to start their first venture. And I want to, I always ask people, where they started in the online space, but I want to start reframing that question to be like, if you could do it all again, go back to day one, would you have started from where you started, or would you have started doing something else you think that would have prepared you to maybe launch the business or do something of that sort? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, that's a really good question, bro. It's actually an interesting one to talk about because I think there's a two-pronged approach to it, and you can see it as well. You have your agency owners who are their own boss. They do whatever the fuck they want. They eat the shit. They're putting out fires every single day. And then you have your sales bros who are your setters, your closers, who just go into offers, treated like princesses, and can make 10 to 15K a month within a few months, just taking calls on their laptop. If you had asked me 4 weeks ago when we were genuinely just like fucking figuring everything out, it was like, well, if this doesn't work out, we've got nothing to lose. As Chris Williamson always says, like, what the fuck have we got to lose? It's like, we can just just easily, we've learned such a good skill that we can go in and just become a high ticket closer and earn 10 or 15K a month. Do I want that? No, but it's just cash. But if you were to ask me if I was to go back, would I do the same thing that I'm doing again? Absolutely, 100%. I absolutely love what I do. And it's crazy because the fact of the matter is, and I know you're probably the same, there's days where you wake up and you're just like, oh, fuck, I don't want to work. I just don't want to get on the laptop. I just want to sit down and be a bit of a degenerate for the day and just watch some fucking YouTube and, just like forget about everything. But then it's just like, I'd sit down there for 20 minutes and I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck up, get to work, do your shit, have fun. And yeah, long story short, okay, no, 100 times out of 100, I'd do exactly what I did again.
All right, I love that, man. And what exactly was that? What was your first kind of intro into this realm?
My first intro into this realm was, did you jump on the A players call a couple of months back with a guy called Evan Carroll?
Yes.
Yes. So Evan is from our hometown in Kilkenny in Ireland.
Cool.
And that was my first push into the online space. I just saw Evan. I was playing Irish sports, which is hurling for anyone that's not looking. Look it up on YouTube. I'm not going to explain it. But Evan was on my hurling team. I'd grown up with Evan. He was about 5 or 6 years older than me. And I just saw Evan move to Dubai out of nowhere. And one day he just put up a picture of him in a Ferrari at a McDonald's drive-thru getting a McFlurry. And I kind of said, well, what the fuck does this guy do? So I sent him a message. I said, bro, what the fuck do you do? I was like, I thought you were an engineer. And he goes, no, I do like fucking online marketing. He goes, book a call at me and I'll talk to you about it. Booked a call at Evan. He was sitting in the back of a taxi in Marrakesh in Morocco on the way to, I don't know where he was going. He was going to Bazaar. And he said, right, this is what you need to do. I'm sending you a mega file. Watch Ty Lopez's course for me and come back and speak to me about that then. So that was my first kind of intro to it. I kind of left it 6 or 7 months. I moved to Spain for college. I was a degenerate, was happy drinking 7 days a week. Then I got to February 2024 and I started watching some more YouTube videos. Liam, my brother, Liam as well. He was kind of in the online space. He had his own agency that wasn't doing too well, but I was like, fuck, this kind of stuff sounds cool. Like, I want to give it a go. This looks easy. Making money online, like sitting in your underpants and just like, taking sales calls. It's cool, bro. So I
Oh yeah.
said I'd give it a go. And kind of just brought me to here. But my first thing was kind of Evan. Then I invested in Jordan Platten's Affluent Academy. I was going to do Iman's Educate. Liam did that. He said, don't do it. It's kind of basic. So I just put $4,500 of my own money that I'd saved up, just threw it all into that course and just went head first into it, bro.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love that. I love the involvement you talked about because I was in that same boat. I think you hit on like we all kind of are cut from the same cloth. Like we're introduced to it. I even started my own, first business and like did pretty well with it. And then like went to college and I was like, I just want to be a kid. Like I just want to have this experience. This is what I signed up for. This is what I worked for, get a taste of this freedom. And then after like a couple years of that freedom, you start being like, well, maybe this isn't the path that's going to sustain me for the next 15 or 20 years.
It's
And
like,
I was exposed. Yeah.
it comes down to, do you want to be an overlived 20-year-old or an underlived 30-year-old? I think that's always the thing that comes back to me. It's like, yeah, I can be a degenerate now. I'm 22. I'm like, do I want to live like my other friends do back home? Again, disclaimer. People like, I feel like there's such a real bad stigma on this whole, 9 to 5 people are fucking shitbags. I don't think they are. They're just not like versed into what we do. And I think there's such a stigma against them. Like my friends are fantastic. But it's like, I wouldn't want to be in their position though, all the same. I wouldn't want to do what they do because we have seen the other side of how actually, I wouldn't say easy it is to make money online because a lot of people say it's easy when you genuinely just, if you put in enough reps, it is easy. But it's like what you just said. It's like, you have that choice. Do you want to be an overlived 20-year-old or an underlived 30-year-old? I think that's the choice that most entrepreneurs have to make.
Yeah, that's so accurate. Now talk to me about joining this course. $4,500 is not a small amount of money.
Mm.
What was said by Evan, or what was the dream that you were sold on per se? If that rings a bell, like what got you over the hump to submit that payment?
10K in 90 days or you get your money back. Like
Hey.
absolutely every.
Yeah.
So that was what got me. But obviously read the fine print. You had to do X amount of calls, X amount of emails, X amount of DMs a day. And then when you're starting off, you're too scared to do all that shit. So you're just like, oh, well. But for me, that 4,500 wasn't just an investment. It was like, bro, I had just moved to Luxembourg in Central Europe. away from my family. I was paying my own rent. It was like 1,000 a month for my own for one small room in the countryside in Luxembourg, and I had fuck all money as well. So putting 4,500 up as well was like shit. Like every bit of money that I
Yeah.
had was going into this shit. So it wasn't just like the 4,500, the commitment. It was like if I pay this, it's like I have the choice of this or rent. Kind of most months, it was crazy.
Yeah, I love that, man, dude. That's awesome, man. I'm in the same boat, getting ready to like make an investment like that, and like I'm talking to so many people about it because even like I'm not necessarily in the place I was when I was in college, so I can only imagine what that
Mm.
risk was like. And even now, I'm like weighing it. I'm like, okay, like can we take that a 6K hit for this next month and just kind of come out barely profitable for months 2 and 3, but then the idea is that months 9 on or months 4 on are we're scaling to 50, 60, 100K a month. So yeah,
Exactly.
I love that you hit on that. It's a very real experience. Now, one kind of unique question so our audience gets to know you a little bit better. What do you
Mhm.
think people get wrong about you?
I think people think that I'm extremely extroverted, and Liam always says this to me. Absolutely fine. I know you, I know the guys. If I know you or I've been speaking to you before, I'm absolutely perfect. I'll jump up, I'll put the arm around you, I'll go talk to you. But when it actually comes to meeting new people, I'm like extremely introverted. Like, I'll tell you just a little brief story about, like, just to sum it up. So I was living in Valencia in Spain in college, etc., etc. I had my close group of friends. I didn't really stray too far away from that. They were all Irish. They understood me. They understood kind of who I was and what I stood for. Basically, there's a tradition in Ireland called Christmas Day for college students. So it's like in November, it's just like you do a college Christmas with your friends. You do like a day of like eating Christmas dinner and going out drinking and partying with your friends. So we were obviously away. We were abroad. We missed it. So a few of the girls who I lived with said, let's make a fantastic idea and do Christmas Day in Spain. So I said, this is great. Fantastic. How fucking great is this? Let's invite random people over to my house that I don't know and whatever. So we had Irish sports on the Sunday morning. It was on the Sunday afternoon. I genuinely knew there was 15 people coming to my house, and I knew that I would not be there before they came. So I'd have to enter in when there was so many people in my house. I convinced two of my friends to come and sit with me in Domino's for the only reason it was an all-you-can-eat buffet for 13 euros. I convinced them to sit in there with me for 3 hours so that we could avoid having to go back to my house because I would be the person who comes in last. But I had to go back to the house. Walked in, there was a girl that I was actually technically seeing at the time at the house as well, and she was Spanish, and she was like waiting for me to come. And I basically walked in the door. Everybody was at the right hand side in the big living room. I just walked straight into my room, closed the door, locked the door, and just slept. I was like, I couldn't do it. So that's an example of what I mean. It's like you could probably tell I'm an extroverted person if I know you, but completely different if
Yeah.
it's like if I don't know you.
Hey, that's good to know, and it's good for the introverts listening to this because it's you're more than capable of doing these things and like scaling and being in front of
Mm,
people. You're in front of tens, if not hundreds, of people a month, and you don't let it affect you to that extent. You're here for to solve the mission, and it's not like the
mm.
social situations are one thing. The hopping on business calls with millionaires is another thing. So to your credit, yeah, you made quite a bit out of it. A lot of people who are introverted think they can't do sales, but you've
Mm.
obviously been able to accomplish that.
For sure, for sure. And it's like, I don't know if there's ever a mix between an introvert and extrovert, but it's like, I've just got a really weird one where it's like, if I know you, 100% I'll talk to a wall. You'll probably have to tell me to shut up. But if I don't know you, or it's like I'm the last person to a party, bro, I'd like happily sit in the corner and like let nobody speak to me or just not go at all.
Cool, man. Now, here's kind of a more personal question. I've been asking people, a lot of the previous guests now, to give me one question for the next guest,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how the timing goes or whatnot. And the one you've gotten is, how do you define character?
Yeah. Who asked you that question, or who gave me that question to ask? I'm gonna text him
Well,
afterwards.
they don't know who I'm going to ask them. Who I'm going to ask it to.
Uh
For context, I can't believe I'm butchering his name, but the most recent guy I had on the show that we talked about previously, he expected that question to be asked for Preston, but Preston and I rescheduled, so got thrown onto you.
Interesting. Interesting. So, what's my definition of character? I'm never great at these. My definition of character: when you've been kicked in the balls numerous times, but yet you still keep going and stay showing up every single day. If somebody rolls over your foot, you just look at them and just smile. I think that's your definition of character. It's just like looking at them and just being that guy.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's kind of he relayed that question to me, and I had the same kind of like, whoa, like I've never actually had to kind of answer that
Mm.
one. So I like that you went. went down the rabbit hole with that one. Now I'm kind of curious. You're an A players like myself. We met out in Rome. A lot of people are
Mm,
watch the content. They're wondering really what that experience was like, and I haven't really got a chance to ask a lot of the guys. What was going through their head. I know what was going through my head 40 days out. But talk to me about when you made the decision to do the marathon, and then like
yeah.
just kind of everything leading up and what your whole experience was, what you pulled from it.
Yeah, so my thinking behind it was probably just a bit crazy. I was just like, well, I'll do it. Why not? We'll see how far we can last. So like we found out, when was it? Like, was it like early January? We kind of said we're going to do 75
Yeah,
hard. Last day of 75 hard, we're going to do a marathon. I was like, yeah, right.
yeah, that
That's
was the
gonna. I
plan.
said, yeah. I was like, yeah, that's gonna happen. I said, but we'll do 75 hard. I'd done it in like September. I was literally just fresh off finishing. I was like, oh fuck it, we'll stay going. So we signed up, didn't actually buy the tickets till like mid February, but we said we'd do it. And typical Irish people, we decided that we got an 18-week training program, but we just didn't do anything for 11 weeks. We just stayed doing our own gym thing, and we just condensed an 18-week program into 7 weeks. So I'll never forget it. Our first time that we actually ran was a Saturday morning in the pissing rain in Ireland. It was about 4 degrees, myself and Liam, and we had to run 23K on our first run. It wasn't like it was like a 5K. It wasn't like it was a 7K. It was a 23K. And bro, I'm not even messing. Our cities are small. Like we had to run like outside in the countryside and like run back into the city and back out to the countryside and like do a full lap of our city. And we still probably only picked up like 18K. And it was just like, fuck. It was like shit. And it was like after that, I was like, well, if I can run and see, disclaimer, this is my unpopular opinion. People on half marathons can fuck off if they're celebrating about it. Because I ran one and people run them when they're training for a marathon. It's not that hard. And we had no training. Like, it's not that hard. So we said, right, we're just going to stick to it. I think the furthest we ran in training was like 32K. And I was like, right, fuck yeah, like really good for this, really good. Then got to Rome, met everybody. Everything was rosy. Obviously, myself, yourself, and Mark were the three that were together at the start line. We kept it with each other for about 2 or 3K. I think before I started to peel off, I kind of got my little like, right, fuck it, let's just fucking go in and raw dog this. I think the biggest psychological fuck for me was we were after going over that. Do you remember like there was like that kind of big massive blue suspension bridge and like you had to go and you turn right, then you're going up a hill. And I was like,
Yeah,
fuck. I was like, yeah, we're doing good here. I was like, we're about 15K in. I was like, we're doing really good. I think
yeah,
20 seconds later, I crossed the 8 kilometer mark and I said, right, well, this isn't great. So I was like, I can't stop. I'll just stay going. But I think it just overall, I always said to myself, okay, I'm going to do this marathon and I'm never going to do one for another like 20 years. I just see it as a male midlife crisis. Something's not right in the family. I'm just going to run a marathon or do an Ironman and just fucking forget about everything. Bro, when I crossed that finish line or the last kilometer, I've said it to the guys, but like, bro, I just burst out crying. Like the last like kilometer, I was like, I just started crying, bro. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? I was like, what's going on with me? And when I crossed that finish line, genuinely, like I've never taken drugs, like I've smoked weed before, like that's fine, like a few times. Bro, like that runner's high that they tell you about, bro, nothing compared to it. It was just pure euphoria. Like I was so sore, but it was just pure euphoria. I was like, where can I sign up for the next one? It's crazy.
yeah.
I don't know. Did you feel the same? Like how was your kind of finishing experience?
Yeah, man. I very similar. I remember very vividly because I there's a 1 minute podcast on Spotify and it's us
Mm,
live. Right, like 1K in, we're like, oh, we just did the first K. Like this is about to be
yeah.
light work. Like yada yada yada. And then for me, dude, I'm training in miles this entire time, so I didn't know
Mm,
that they were just gonna have the K's up
mm,
and then they also did put it in the miles, but it was just very like kind of sporadic. And so I
mm,
would see like 15K and I'd be like, oh shit, like I'm halfway done, kind of like I knew the
yeah.
K, but then I was like, wait a second, I got like a whole 30% I'm missing here. If
Mm,
not more. It's actually, yeah, it's like 40%. So I'm
yeah.
like, oh god, like every mile I think I'm doing, I'm 600 meters behind where I think I'm what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And
I was getting I was getting
Yeah.
low key bored. I was getting like, sorry to interrupt, but I was getting like low
No,
key
you're
bored during it. Like I was like 22k in just before the Vatican, and I like tried to call my mates, but it was like 8 a.m. back home in Ireland. I just tried to call the boys. I was a bit bored. I was like, if I jump on a FaceTime for like 5 minutes, I might get like one or two, or just like 1k in, and I'll be happy, and that'll keep me suffice.
yeah.
But you continue what you were saying. You're just like, fuck it.
Yeah, dude. And I know exactly what you're talking about coming over the bridge. Then that started to really like kind of wrap around my brain where I was like, damn, this thing is a lot bigger than I think I expected. Personally, I only did, it's probably about, you guys did about 23K. I would say the longest run I went on was like, I really only did 10 miles at a time, but I had a couple days where I did 10 miles till like midnight. And then I woke up at like 7 a.m. and I did another 10 miles just to,
Mm,
because I thought that would suffice. But I never did more than like 10 miles.
mm,
After like I would say the last 10 were like really tough. The last six,
mm.
I didn't know you could get two Charlie horses at the same time. So I didn't know both your legs could just cramp up at once to where you can't fucking walk.
Oh, it
And
was
so,
crazy. It was it
oh my
was
God.
so it was so I would never say badly organized, but it was like someone told me there was like cobblestones. So that's a grand. It's probably cobblestones for like 2 or 3k. Bro, there was cobblestones for like the last like 7 or 8 kilometers. And then it was so
Yeah.
narrow. The streets were so fucking narrow. People like in
Oh,
front of me were like tearing their hamstrings or like something had happened to them. Bro, they'd like run across you and like they were fucking like taking people out like as they were trying to like go over to safety. It was like a war zone. The past like 4k was hilarious. I was there like I'm in so
dude,
much pain, but I was like I'm just gonna
bro.
push through it. I need to get past these
Did
people.
did you get asked if you were okay by the line judge people? That was like probably my lowest moment of the whole race. Was I had like 3 or 4K left, and this lady
Mm.
sees me like limping, and she's like, "Oh, do you want us to pull you off? Are you okay? Like, are you good?" And I was like,
No.
"I did not come this far to go this
Yeah.
far, lady. I am
No.
getting this shit done."
Bollocks to that, bro. I was like in my last 3k and like the 3 hour 45 people like pacers were starting to come up quick on me, and I was like, bro, like I checked my Strava, I'm like on for a 3 fucking 30. I was like, nah, there's something wrong here. But the last like 3 or 4k, like I just started to speed up, and like there were like a few guys like I loved it. It was like the camaraderie between just like random people for the last like 2 to 3k. It was like, come on, we're gonna do this together. We'll all finish. We're gonna fucking yeah. It was like
Yeah,
fuck yeah. But like you didn't know them, never saw them again, but it was just kind of like that little bit of like that grit was kind of like, yeah, well, fucking, we're gonna finish this, dude. We're gonna finish it.
that's awesome, dude. And I'll plant the seed now, bro. I'm looking at the marathon in Egypt in
Oh
February.
shit.
So you run through the freaking pyramids. Yeah.
Fuck that. Sorry. I'll need somewhere. I'll need somewhere like Stockholm or Oslo or somewhere where it's extremely flat and the actual air quality is good. It's not like it's Rome where the air quality is just shit. Somewhere with a bit of oomph that you can get a bit of cold air in your lungs to keep you going.
Yeah, that's a very fair take, man. So talk to me a little bit about this online space. It gives you the location freedom, the financial freedom,
Mm,
etc. Talk to me about what your experience has been in terms of living. Like, what can people expect? How have you gone about just like your living situation while you're building? I think that's super interesting to where
yeah.
you are basically you got to wake up every day and eat or cook or you're not going to eat. And
Yeah.
it's so I'm just curious. Talk to me about that experience. How long have you been? I know you mentioned Luxembourg. Have you been on
Mm.
your own, since then, just balls to the wall scaling, or what?
No, so I was living in Luxembourg from February 24 to August 24. So that was like when I was starting up and building the agency. So that was actually kind of a blessing in disguise. It was like I could kind of just lock in, no family, no nothing. It was just me, my laptop, and my fucking desk in my in my bedroom. So that was fine. Then I moved back to Ireland then for final year of university. So I was down in my university city then from September until May of this year. Obviously, sporadic trips then in between going to Milan, going to Rome, going to Marbella in January. And that's the kind of stuff that I love. It's like, bro, we weren't earning much money, but it was like you still had that freedom. You could just bring the laptop and you could just get to work and cook when you were out there. Like, so there was that. And then just kind of moving out here then to Marbella in the start of June. I think there's a lot of stigma, and I probably would have been on the side of this probably up until about 10 days ago, where people are like, oh, you need to get out of your hometown. Oh, you need to get out of your. I think, bro, that's just people have a bit of insecurity about it. They think they let their environment get the best of them. Like, I'm over here now, bro, and it was the same when I was in Luxembourg. I love living away from home. I absolutely love it. I love being independent. I love being kind of like having my own space, and it's me and Liam, and it's good for business. But bro, I'm fucking looking forward to going home for a couple of weeks. You know, like I get to go to the NFL game in the end of September. The Steelers are playing the Vikings back home in Ireland. Gonna go home for that.
Hell yeah.
I've got my mother's birthday that weekend as well, so go back for that. And I've got my graduation from university in 4 weeks' time. So I'm probably just gonna go home for a couple of weeks, and it gives you that freedom. And I think that's the most important thing. It's like, yeah, okay, we're here. But it's like all I need to do is bring my laptop. I have my suit at home. I have everything at home. Just bring my laptop and my charger, and I'm free to work. I'm free to do my shit, like, you know?
Yeah, I love that you hit on that, dude. Because I've been like, transparently, like I've lived at home for the last 2 years, and I was coming from South Florida, where the only reason I stayed down there really, a year after I graduated university, like I had the agency, we were making sporadic money, as you know that
Mm.
loop goes. Some months are really good, some months you lose all 8 clients at once.
If
Like
you're looking
it's
for
like,
predictability and security, I feel like the agency model is just not for you, bro.
oh my god, I should have. And I always say this to answer that question I asked you earlier. I always say like, and I did do this, but like, I was starting I had watched two basically agency businesses go from 10K a month to zero, and I took a step back and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go get into appointment setting. I found Jacob Hopkins, who worked for
Mm.
Hermosi, and I was like, I had him on the podcast, picked his brain, and I went back into sales at a digital marketing agency that had me specializing in their LinkedIn product. So I was able to make a little bit of money, and just learn LinkedIn. And then when that company went under, that's when I decided to move home because I literally had nothing. Like I literally was like, okay,
Mm.
the company went bankrupt. We're not getting paid. Had a little bit of a hiatus, but I had all this social pressure of living in South Florida and people thinking I was living the dream and all this. And I
Mm.
thought like, oh, I started my first company at 18, and then I went to college, and like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and this is how it's supposed to look.
Yeah.
And very quickly you kind of realize like, wait a second, like I'm still only am 22 at the time. Like I still like I the advantage that I pulled from coming home, and it took me a while to realize this. The first few months were definitely like, fuck this, I need to get out. I thought I was leaving in
Mm.
3 months. Like I didn't know it was going to take, a certain amount of time. But then even when I hit the number I was looking for, and like, yeah, sure, I could move out, I was like, but what if I just traveled seasonally and I used that
Mm.
money I was going to spend on rent to go travel? And like, I have very supportive parents. I'm very grateful for that. To where as long as I'm focused and taking care of my shit and like I'm moving in the right direction, like they like having me here, and it's like,
Mm.
you get this time, you only get so much time with your parents while they're young. And I think that's what I've realized the most coming home
Mm.
is like how much of a blessing it is to only, have my parents like young and healthy, and, just like getting ready to enter the second stage of life when, health and life happen, past
Yeah.
65, 60. I lost my grandmother at 72. It's
Mm.
very much, and that's their parents, right? So
Yeah.
they always told me like, once they left for college back in the day, you went to college, then you went to work, and then wherever that job was, and you saw your family on the holidays, and if you couldn't afford to get home, you couldn't afford to get home.
Yeah.
They lose 10, 15, 20. I mean, you see your parents once a year for 10 straight years. Like I never want to be in that position to where that's what and it seemed like, they kind of had to do it. Like to their credit,
Yeah.
they had to do it. That was the smart thing to do, is I can't just travel when I want to travel.
Yeah.
But now with this opportunity, it's like the reason I'm doing this is so that I can have that relationship up until, when that, those times come, and it is
Yeah.
only health oriented in the terms of how much time I get to spend with them.
Yeah, it's 100%. It's kind of funny because like I was the first of like the three guys, like on the middle son. Like I was the first to leave the house, like fly the coop. I was the first to go for like an extended period of time. And I remember when I went over first, like mom was ringing me every day. And like, bro, my life was literally, I'd wake up, go to uni and go to the Irish pub. That was literally my day, and go to the gym. There were the three things that I do. Mom was calling me every day. What do you do? Oh, what are you up to? What are you doing? I'm like, mom, it got to the stage where like her friends were even telling her, like, stop calling him every day. She used to ring me and I'd be like, well, what you do today? I did the same thing I've been doing the past 2 months. So it's like, she knows that she doesn't need to call me every day here. She might call me like once or twice a week. Whereas with Liam, she like calls Liam every day because it's like the first time he's properly moved away from home. So it's funny, but like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I want to have that opportunity where it's like, I've been away for like about a year and a half kind of all together. And it's like, I'd like to have that time with my family as well. And also just have the opportunity to have them come over here as well, I think, which is super nice as well. Like it's like you're saying, my parents are super, like I'm super fortunate to have good parents, good, like they're in a financially stable position, they can just come here as well if they want for a couple of weeks, which I think is cool as fuck.
Yeah, I love that, man. And we have that. It's funny you just pointed out. You're like, I'm the middle child too of three, and we have
Mm,
that just in nature, like natural sense of independence, like
mm,
just ready to go, ready to take over the world. And it's like it's good though. Like it's bittersweet, right? Like it's
mm.
my sister, my older sister always says like the one thing she envies about me is just like my fearlessness and like how
Yeah.
I've just I could have went the regular route. I was pushed to go, in a way like it was seen as the regular route. Like my sister had a 4.5 GPA. She was crushing it. She got into grad school. Like she ends up with a great job. Like the bar was set very high, but it wasn't set high in the realm that I knew I was meant to kind of go.
Mm,
And so there was an element of I needed space. Like I had to be the kid that went to college in South Florida versus, going to the state school because I needed to be around different cultures, not just my school culture. Even that was too much of a tight knit group for me where everybody there, yeah, we're going to a preppy private school. Like I know these guys are financially fine. Like, and it's like 6,000 people. And I'm like, this is still too small. Like I need to be in South
mm,
Florida so I can go talk to 100 other schools. And like my whole thing was like when I was first starting the podcast, we'd go to different colleges every other week just to get interviews with like other students. And like that was awesome. So I feel you on the middle child thing. All the middle childs listening to this,
uh,
follow that gut because it prepares us. Nothing really bothers us. It's like
no,
we can accomplish anything
exactly.
in that sense. So yeah, I love that, man. Now, one thing as we kind of, I don't like to say the wrap up, even though this is always my segue into, I guess the wrap up of things. I want to stay on your agency journey just a little bit, kind of help out a few people that I know we can definitely help out. Can you talk to me about something you underestimated in terms of going all in on your own business versus being a sales rep? Because like you said, you always have that outlet, but what is it for you, and what has kind of pleasantly or unpleasantly surprised you since you have gone all in on yourself?
Yeah, so I think to kind of, for anyone out there, like being a sales or being a closer is good, bro. You're gonna make your good money. You're gonna be doing the minimum required to make good money. It's just you have to do a bit of research and just watch your sales calls. But, and don't take this in a harsh way, you're still somebody's bitch at the end of the day. You are somebody's bitch. You are filling in KPI sheets. You are making some other guy money. So technically in all essences, it's a virtual 9 to 5, if I can put it in any simple terms. But kind of what surprised me about the kind of agency model is, I think you've seen it as well. People say, "Oh, it's so easy to make money online. You can go from 0 to 10K a month in 3 months," and everyone gets sold on that dream. To be perfectly honest with you, being a business owner at such a young age, like I was 20 when I started my business, like being a business owner at age 20, bro, and trying to figure everything out from scratch, and like having your parents being like, "What the fuck do you do?" And like, "Why are you doing this? Like, get a proper job." It's not fucking easy. It's not easy. And people say that it's easy. And I think that that's what my biggest gripe is. And it's like, if I can tell people, because people from my town text me now, they're like, "Oh, see, moved to Marbella, it must be really successful." I'm like, bro, like everything's a fucking facade, number one. And number two, it's like, it's not easy. They're like, "Oh, I want to get into the agency space. I want to make my 10K a month online." I'm like, bro, like if you can make 10, I think like 10% of agencies that are established ever make it to 10K once, which is crazy. So it's like, I feel like if you genuinely are willing to eat shit for a long period of time, and also I think as well, and it's like what you said, you saw your business go from 10K to zero in the space of like whatever time frame that was. If you don't have the mental frame for that, bro, you're gonna fucking cave into a serious depression, bro. It's like you're here, you're successful, 10K is 10K, like, oh, I'm living my dream. To go from zero. Bro, we signed like 8 people, didn't churn one person in our first like 7 months. And we were like, whoever says about this valley of despair, this whole up and down graph, bro, we're fucking no, we're flying here and we're not fucking going, we're going this way. Then it's like 2 weeks later, we lost like 3 of our highest paying clients, and we just went from like here on fucking top to down here in the space of like a week. And it was like, holy fuck. It was like, here were us thinking we were the big dicks, fucking swinging the big dicks, walking out with a tripod around on our fucking legs. And it was like, just out of nowhere, just going to shit. So I think the biggest thing that like surprised me was like, or that I underestimated, was like the time frame possible and the actual need to have a good mindset. I just thought you could just jump on, say like, don't practice mindset, don't practice psychology, and just like learn marketing and sales and you'll be fine. It's do you know what it is, bro? Everything, I think everything in life, 98% of it is a mindset game. It's all a mind game, bro. If you can conquer your
Yeah.
mind, bro, you can fucking take over the world.
I agree with that 100%, man. And like, I just love that the thing that surprised you was how easy it was, because that's just so, it hits a nerve for me, like, especially
Mm,
as somebody who I found Iman. I was 17. I was looking at this kid that was only a year and a half older than me. And I was like, how the shit is he doing that? And I'm doing this. And I'm not even started
mm,
college yet. And I'm like, there has to be a way. And he was making it seem very easy. And it's not a diss on Iman to any extent. When I look at it from an info product perspective, and like now even launching your own mentorship, like I
mm,
see the game that these guys are playing, and I know it's not ill intentioned. It's just their goal is to scale their business. It's not necessarily always to scale their people. And I think that's the unique opportunity we have, being what I call kind of this second wave of online entrepreneurs that got to see the Imans and the Arlens and all these
mm.
guys in the world go about it. And then now we can go in and look at what we really didn't like about that and make an impact in a positive way, and I think that's
Yeah.
why these conversations are so important, because now there wasn't enough time when those guys were starting to have some of these valleys of despair. It might have been very real that they scaled that quickly because they were the only ones doing it, but
I
now
think that I
they're
think
not.
that's
Yeah.
I think that's probably something as well. Like, never look badly upon like what the Imans, what the Jordan Plantons, what the Irelands, what the Ty Lopez, what all these guys say, the Jeremy Haynes. It's like, I don't actually think bad of it. It's like they're selling you on the opportunity. Realistically, right? It is possible to get from 0 to 10K in 3 months. If you're a fucking dog and you find like a blue ocean, it's actually possible. So what they're saying technically isn't false. It's not false information, but it's like what you said. Bro, in 2014, 2015, who the fuck was doing online meta ads and Facebook ads and shit? They had a complete blue ocean in every single sector there was. So it's like they go in, they are literally in stage one of the journey. People are product and solution unaware of all this shit. They go in, get amazing results. They can scale to like 100K in like 12 months when nobody's doing it. Now there was courses that I was in, bro. Like, there's like 10 people joining a day, and it's like, imagine that, like, on a worldwide scale, how many hundreds of thousands of agencies there are. And it's not just the hundreds of thousands of agencies, it's these people that, the likes of myself and yourself, we genuinely do good business and do good results. These people, I'm not going to put them all in one bracket, but the vast majority of these people suck at what they do. They don't know what they're doing. They do this outreach, they fucking cold call, they piss the fuck off of all these businesses. And then when we come along and we have a genuine offer, proven results, they're already burned. They don't trust it because they've been hit by so many people. So it's like, it's that hierarchy. So like the Imans and shit and the Jeremy Haynes and Tylo, they came in, they were right in what they said because they had the blue ocean. But I'll never, long story short, I'll never like think badly of them because it genuinely was possible when they started up to do that, and their journey reflects it.
Yeah, I love that, man. I'm so glad we're debunking a lot of these myths, more exposing in a way. Like I always say, when you're looking at investing in a mentor, look at how much they're still doing the thing they're teaching you to do. And yes, I used to say it was from a financial perspective, like look at how much money they're making from coaching versus what they're doing on their
Mm.
business. But as a business owner, I understand the profit margins are much, much different. And so I don't like to,
Fuck me, bro.
you know,
Info product is
I
like
don't,
90% margins. Like,
it's 90% margin. You're getting paid for your time. So I don't like to use that as a metric, but I do like the mentor I'm really getting ready to sign up with. It's like he's still doing the thing. He's still
it's so
running his
important, bro.
podcast and growing his business and doing this. And then he has the time to go coach 100 people. I made an Instagram story today. I said, I'm your mentor. I'm not your coach. If I had
Mm.
time to coach you 24/7, I wouldn't be making money from my businesses. And that
Yeah.
brings you absolutely no value.
I
So,
think I think
yeah.
having a mentor that's still in the field and every single day in the business, that is such a competitive advantage to somebody who just scaled a business to X amount per month once or twice and said, right, I've got enough of a credibility brag here, I'm gonna make an info product, because them guys will burn you. The guys who are in the fucking heat every single day, they're actually seeing the change every single day. They're more aware. They can actually be like, right, here's a new update. This is what I see is working in the market at the moment. Let's do this. Whereas somebody who's uninformed and just hearing it from other people who heard it from other people, it's like you might miss it by 2 or 3 weeks, or you might be uninformed, or there's no like secret sauce. Like, oh, just press publish and this meta ad might work, you know?
Yeah, 100%, man. Now, kind of for the fun question I get to give you, you get to ask me a question, and I have to answer it as legally and honestly as I can. First thing that comes to mind.
I'm never great at on the spot stuff, honestly. What is your definition of success? Because I think that too many people have different definitions. So, what's your definition of success?
Ooh, I like that. My definition, and I'll keep it really simple. It's going to be kind of might be too philosophical for some people. My definition of success is: do you do what you say you're going to do? Have you done what you said you were going to do? And because I think as much as it's you could say 100 things and do 20% of them and get that as credibility to yourself, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, are you consciously making affirmations, telling people the things you're going to do, and then you're not even saying those unless A, it's already done, it's already started, or you have the plan in order to execute it. And if you don't
Mm,
have the plan, or you haven't started, or you haven't already done it, don't talk about it, because it sets up these expectations for yourself. Then you fall into the reverse loop of, oh, I'm not keeping promises to myself. And I always say this, people are going to hear me. I might be the first person that's ever said it. I don't know. I'm not going to take credit for it. But for me, I started looking at the word, people talk about self-confidence all the time. Where does all my self-confidence come from? Self-confidence comes from confidence in the self.
mm,
So success is being self-confident, and self-confidence is coming from keeping promises to yourself. So I always say, success for me is, do I do what I say I'm going to do? And I try not to say anything that I don't expect to actually get done. And then to caveat that, a lot of people are like, well, you didn't even mention anything about money and blah, blah, blah. Because money's not it. For me, it's wealth. Wealth for me is, am I taking care of my family? Am I taking care of myself? Am I taking care of the people that have helped me get here?
mm,
And, am I happy and healthy? And like, you really, like I always spell, you can't really spell wealth without health in a way. And
mm.
like, that's a key contributor. And then it all falls under the blanket of, you can only be healthy if you keep the promise to yourself that you're going to go to the gym 3 to 5 times a week. You can only take care of your family if you're focused on your business and you're creating that financial freedom that inevitably will help them, or creating a
Exactly.
skill set that can help them. So, yeah, success for me is like, do you keep promises to yourself? Do you say what you're going to say, what you're going to say? Do you do what you're going to say?
That's fucking, yeah, that's good. And I like that because I think a lot of people, if you ask them that question, it's like, oh, I want a Ferrari and a yacht and a private jet. And, bro,
10K a
success to
month.
me, success to me is, like you said, happy wife, amazing kids, an outdoor grill so I can cook my steaks at night in a big enough garden so I can fucking put check marks and cut it every single week with my big fat lawnmower. That's success to me, bro.
That's awesome. And we'll get to the final question here in a minute. That's going to be more one that you get to ask, the next guest.
Mm.
I'm kind of curious on your end, man. Anything you'd say you don't get a chance to talk about enough, or that we even on this conversation haven't covered, that you feel like compelled and want to talk about?
Yes, yes. Virality and
Yes.
content. Fuck
Let's do it.
virality. Fuck virality and content. Fuck it all. Fuck everything about it. If you're an actual business owner, you should be focusing on value, not virality. Because, and I'm going to give you a reason. If I wanted to go viral right now, tomorrow, bro, I could fucking jump up on my balcony. I could put on a thong and I could shake my ass and I'll get views. Is that going to get me for my business? Is that going to get me clients? No. What's it going to get me? A vanity metric.
Pedophiles.
Virality, yeah, virality is fucking vanity at the end of the day. If you actually, you're a business owner, an info product coach, consultant, agency owner, whatever you want, and you actually want to use your content to get clients, so many people just chase that viral. They chase the eyes, but they're getting the wrong eyes. And it's so fucking wrong. And it annoys me so much because one follower or one true follower is worth 1,000 fake ones. It's insane. And it's like that, like if you actually have an audience that always watch your videos, always support your content. You can have 150 people that are true fans better than 1,500 fucking fake people all day, every day. And that doesn't come from like social media. That comes from everything in life. So it's like, if you genuinely want to make an impact and sign more clients for like your info product, your coach, consultancy, agency thing, whatever you want to umbrella of online space, bro. Provide value, stop chasing views, stop chasing vanity, and just genuinely do good shit for good people. And eventually, yes, it's going to be a longer term play, but it's going to pay off. Sorry, that's my rant because I fucking hate virality, bro.
No, dude, I'm so glad. That's why I asked that question, because it opens a really good discussion. And a lot of people, they're even being coached to go viral first, and it's crazy. Just like they're being coached to launch a freaking info product when they've never done anything. And it's
Mm,
like, okay, the that's something people get so wrong. And like my take has always been on it, and it took a while to come to this, is what do you want to go viral for? Because if you look at it, if you can go viral talking about fucking LinkedIn, then you're not doubting whether it's virality. Your goal was to gain clients out of that. If you can go viral for being the GOAT at, return on ad spend, then that's who you want. You hit on it there for a second. It's like your 100 true fans. If you have 100 true fans that are willing to pay you $1,000 a year, or you get 100 new fans that are willing to pay you $1,000 a year, even at a bare minimum, then you can make $100,000 a year based on who you are. And
Exactly.
that is very realistic. But you have to become that person that's worthy of that. And you have to acquire the skill sets, and you have to be able to eat shit, like you've mentioned. And you have to not give a shit about going viral, because the real 100 fans do not want to, like, they're not coming to you because they think what you do is fake. They're coming to you because they think it's authentic. You're getting back what you're putting out.
And even to caveat and to add on top of that, it's like, if you actually put out valuable content, the people that are going to be coming through your funnel are going to be so warm, and they're going to be, all their objections going to be pre-handled. It's literally the easiest fucking closes you will ever have. Those people will literally come to you with their fucking credit card and be like, just let me join.
Just do it. I literally had that happen the other day. The guy's like, "Oh, I heard you're the LinkedIn GOAT. Let's get started." I'm like,
Yeah.
say less. Let's
Yeah.
rock.
Exactly.
All right,
That.
Andrew.
Easy fucking close.
Yeah. I love that you hit on that. We're definitely going to do part 2 in person, like I always say, with my online guest. Now, I do want to know kind of what is one question you have for my next guest. I have no idea who it's going to be because these schedules change left and right, but I want to know on your end.
I always like to ask people, because I'm big on this, if you could pick a dream dinner table with 4 people from any place in history, who would the 4 people be and why? I think it shows people's intent. It's like a psychological thing. It shows like who they want to mirror themselves off, who they're interested in, or it's like they just want to be around some fandom dudes. But I always like
Dude,
that
I
question.
love that. Yeah, I love that. And I'll give you a gist of mine, just because I know people are probably curious, but I would definitely have to go. I'd have to go Steve Jobs. I'd have to go Prefontaine, if that's a runner. If anybody doesn't know, ran
Steve
at Oregon.
Pre.
Steve Pre, dude, best movie of all time. I'm not going to debate it. Then I'd have to go. I'd have to go Chris Williamson, because I think a lot of what I resonate with in terms of his podcast, the way he goes about it. Then people always tell me to do Joe Rogan, but I think that's just such the cliche podcast cop out. Like, for me, I think I'd have to go. Who would make this freaking interesting? That I pull a lot from. Ooh, I'll do a good one. The guy who wrote How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Dale Carnegie. Not bad.
Dale Carnegie, dude. I want to see that in action. Like, does this
Yeah.
guy show up, and is he focusing on what's important to people? Like, that's the biggest thing that I pulled from, and that's why I love the podcast, because it literally
That's
puts
cool.
people in a feeling of importance. And yeah, so I'd have to go Dale Carnegie, Steve Jobs, Chris Williamson, and then Steve Prefontaine. That'd be a hell of a vlog.
Interesting. That's a
Yeah.
good one. I think from the top of my head, I would
Yeah, I want to
choose
know.
Genghis Khan, Jesus Christ. I think I
Jesus.
would go Michael Collins. There's one for you to look up after this, Michael Collins. And I think,
Okay.
I think the fact you said Dale Carnegie, I'd probably go with Napoleon Hill. I think that'd be a cool one.
Yeah, I love that, man. Andrew, that was a lot of fun, dude. Thank you so much. Where can we find you? Any final thoughts? And again, just can't thank you enough for doing this.
Yeah, 100%. No, I appreciate jumping on. You can find me on Instagram. Andrew.Brennan Smith is the handle, SMYTH. I'm on YouTube as well, Andrew Brennan Smith. I kind of post twice, 3 times a week, just pure value, pure sauce. Never claiming to be an expert, disclaimer, but I'm just like giving away all of the value that I provide every single week, and what's working in our ad accounts at the moment for info products, coaches, and consultants. So that's where you can find me. You can also find me. I know, Jack, I can't hide from you. You have my Instagram, you have my phone number. So you can find me out in Marbella, Spain as well, but I'm not going to give my location. I don't want people showing up at my door.
Yeah, if you want to meet Andrew, join A Players. It's the best group in the world. It's what brought us together. And is it called i2udigital.com? Is that your guys' website?
Yes, sir. itudigitalmarketing.com. And then the capital I, letter 2, or number 2, capital U, bro.
All right. Love to hear it. Awesome, man. I'm going to pause it here, and then we'll chat a little bit after. If you've been listening this
Sick.
far, I sincerely appreciate you. Like, subscribe, do the duties, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.